All right, I got it. She's gonna love it. Let's go.
Whoa, how'd you find a card so fast?
I am a speaker of lady language. I hear their voices in my head, much like Beethoven heard music.
No, I think those are just voices.
Either way, I've got a card and you don't.
I'm trying to find one with the right words. I can't find one that really describes how I feel.
Here, this one.
This one. This is the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Sugar is sweet and so is honey. I bought you this card because I had no money.
That is so you.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's not me.
What are you trying to say?
I need a card that says, I don't deserve you. I never have, and I never will. From the moment that I first saw you, I knew that I wanted to be with you, to know you, to understand you. I am humbled that you chose me. I have married out of my league, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't recognize that fact. And I've never taken our vows lightly. What do I say to the mother of my children, my best friend, my soulmate? I love you can just sound so cliche and trite, but it's the only words that I know. I love you. I mean, that would be a card, you know? That would be a card that I'd want to buy. What's the matter? What happened?
Don't look at me.
Okay.
Look away.
I have. What's the matter?
It's like I'm a swimming pool, and your words are like cannonballs landing. Pull yourself together, man. Attention, everybody. We are in the presence of a true wordsmith.
No, we're not.
Allow his words to be the wings on which your cards fly.
No.
I want what he's having.
Okay, we need to go. We need to go right now.
I've got an idea. We'll get those cards that are blank on the inside, and we'll write your words on them, and then we'll give them to our ladies. But we have to write in calligraphy.
I'm just going to take your card.
Wait, what was that part about the true soulmates? I need a pen. I gotta write this down. That stuff is gold. That'll give me a whole Sunday of football.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
We are so excited to have you here for service today. We want to make sure that right away you're thinking about your home pastors, because in a little bit here, we're going to need home pastors to get ready with their candles. So get that ready and be thinking about that now.
I hope your week was good. It was a cold one. Gosh, probably one of the coldest winters that I've experienced in a while. Now, I'm curious, besides a coat or a jacket, what is another important winter gear that you need to have or you need to wear when it's cold so that you can survive these winters? Man, just these last couple of days of negative temps plus the wind chill's been crazy.
Yeah.
So would you share with us in the comments below what is the most important winter gear to wear or to have when it's cold? Pang, what's your winter gear that you need to have or to wear to make it to survive this winter?
I'd have to say a scarf. I just need to feel warm, and so a scarf would be kind of my must-have. How about you, Con?
One of those winter face masks. I just go ninja mode in the winter. It's so cold. I need to cover my head, my mouth, my nose, and so I had to pull that ninja mask out this week. It was that cold. Well, again, just a welcome to you all. Now, hey, if it's your first time joining RiverLife, if it's your first time being a part of RiverLife service online, I am so glad that you are here with us. Now, there's going to be a post that's going to be floating in the comments here in a little bit for first-timers, and we would love to connect with you. And so if it's your first time here at RiverLife, would you go find that post in the comments and like, and we want to contact you, and we want to get in touch with you. And again, it's great that you're joining with us this morning. Secondly, for everyone else who's been here before, thanks for coming back. There's another comment that's going to be floating around for this week's prize. And so find it, go like it. We're giving away 5 RiverLife hoodies. And so go check out that post, follow the instructions for your chance to win a RiverLife hoodie.
Go get those hoodies and good luck. All right, home pastors, it is time to get that candle and pray. So go ahead and grab that, identify who your home pastors are, and please comment. Let us know who is the home pastor.
We'd love to know who your home pastors are this morning. All right, home pastors, if you are ready, go ahead and grab your candle, grab your lighter, and then in a little bit we're going to light our candle, and then home pastors, please lead your home church in prayer. And again, if you are the pastor, lead yourself in prayer as we continue to engage in leading our own faith. And so, home pastors, you're ready. Let's go and let's light our candle.
Kids, welcome back to Kid Talk. Last week we talked about Cain and Abel and how jealousy caused conflict between two brothers, and it was so bad that Cain got angry at Abel and ended up killing him. Today we're going to talk about another story about jealousy, conflict, and brothers who just can't seem to get along. And we're going to go to Genesis chapter 37 to hear about a guy named Joseph. So what is conflict? Conflict is basically just a disagreement or argument that you have with someone. Conflict can come from many different things. It can be small or it can be big. But conflict is always pretty serious if you don't take care of it. In today's story, we're going to talk about a guy named Joseph. He was one of 12 boys, and he was in conflict with at least 10 of his brothers. And it all came from the fact that he was his father's favorite son. He even had a special coat, they called it the coat of many colors, that his father gave to him and not to the other 11 brothers. That's pretty crazy. Like, that's pretty obvious. Like, this guy's the favorite. He got something that nobody else got. And to add to the matters, making it worse, Joseph would get dreams. And he kind of had a problem with running his mouth and talking about these dreams. And he told his brothers one day when they were out in the field working in the fields, he said, well, you got to listen to this dream I had. It was pretty crazy. He's like, I dreamt that we were in the field gathering grain into sheaves, and suddenly my sheaves stood up, and all the other 11 sheaves around it bowed down. Now, that's pretty specific numbers, and it got to make you wonder, what does that mean? Does Joseph think that he's better than his other 11 brothers? Because they already think that Joseph thinks he's better than his 11 brothers. So this dream just kind of added fuel to the fire, saying Joseph thinks he's better than us. And it didn't stop there. He had another dream, and he shared about how the sun and the moon and 11 stars bowed down to him, another star in his dream. So again, adding more fuel to the fire. Joseph thinks he's better than us. This conflict did not get resolved, and it led to some big problems for Joseph. His brothers, instead of talking to Joseph or even to their father about it, decided to talk amongst each other, and they started to scheme and plan, and they decided they were going to do something pretty awful. They decided to sell their brother Joseph into slavery. So Joseph went out to meet his brothers, and they started to plot and scheme. Some of them even wanted to kill Joseph. But Joseph's oldest brother, Reuben, said, do not lay a hand on him. Let's throw him into this cistern, and when the traveling merchants come by, we can sell him. And we will tell Dad he was killed by a wild animal. We'll get his coat, put some animal blood on it, and act like that Joseph was killed by a wild animal. So they had a plan that they thought was a good plan. Like, we don't have to hurt Joseph, but we can get rid of him if we sell him, which is still a horrible thing to do, especially to your own brother. Selling him into slavery just to get rid of him, they thought they were getting rid of the problem, but in reality, the conflict was inside themselves, and it wasn't just between them and Joseph. It was in them as well. So what does the Bible say about conflict? How are we supposed to deal with conflict?
So it says in one of my favorite verses that my grandparents shared with me from an early age, they would always tell me, don't go to bed angry. It came from Ephesians 4, verse 26. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. It's a pretty simple verse, but there's a lot in it that God is trying to tell us. If you are angry, don't give time for the anger to grow. That's what happened with Joseph's brothers. They were angry at him because of this conflict of feeling that Joseph thought he was better than them. And instead of dealing with it and talking with Joseph about it, they went to sleep. Not just one day, not just 2 days, but probably for years. And in that time, the anger got bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually some of them wanted to kill him, but then they ended up just selling him into slavery because they were so angry at Joseph because of that conflict that they didn't deal with. Just like we talked about last week with our verse from James, it says, confess your sins to your brothers and sisters and pray for them so that you can be healed. Joseph's brothers didn't do that. They didn't confess that they were angry at Joseph. They just kept it to themselves and eventually plotted to kill him, but then ended up selling him into slavery. So I challenge you today, if there's any kind of conflict that you might have been holding on to between your siblings, between your parents, between your friends, pray about it. Talk to them about it. Try to get over that before it becomes something so big that your relationship is over. Take care of that conflict before it becomes a monster that you can't deal with. So that's it for our Kid Talk this week. I will see you again next week as we continue the story with Joseph. Bye, kids.
Seen your faithfulness. You never break your promises. You are good, always good, my Jesus. In the tension of the night, you speak your word, my guiding light. I will trust you, Jesus. I praise your name. In every moment I would choose to say, with all I am, with every breath I take, I praise your name. There's always grace for a broken heart. You're my strength when
Hey, did you pay the cable bill today?
No.
Didn't you have a lunch break today?
Welcome to That's So Mature, the game show for married couples who want to go the distance, beat the odds, and put the relation back in their relationship and build a loving and lasting godly relationship. What do you say? Want to play?
Absolutely.
When is dinner?
Super! The rules are simple. When you hear this buzzer, you have the opportunity to rephrase a thoughtless comment and make it thoughtful. A chance for a meaningful conversation rather than a meaningless one. Scott, let's start with you. Welcome to round one of That's So Mature. That's So Mature! Scott, you began the conversation insinuating that your wife should have been able to pay the bill while she was at work. How can you rephrase that and make it more positive and engaging encounter?
Hi. Sweetheart, why didn't you have time to pay the bill today? What? What's wrong with that?
The answer we were looking for was, how was your day? How was your day?
That's implied, isn't it? Okay, all right. How was your day today, sweetheart?
Super! Excellent work, Scott. Now, Charla, your turn. Answer this question. How was your day?
Well, I went to work this morning, and as I was driving, there was a guy driving next to me in a Honda. No, it wasn't a Honda. It was a Datsun. Wait, no, they don't make Datsuns anymore. You know what? What was the car that your cousin Rip drove? You know, the one that we always said looked like a pregnant ferret? Anyway, he was wearing the same colored shirt you were wearing. So I got to work and I walked in like normal and Diane was sitting at the front. Wait, I wasn't even halfway through my day.
Exactly. No one needs that many details. The question was, how was your day? Not, give me a doctoral thesis on your day. Charla, try that again.
Well, babe, to answer your question, I went to work and I ran some errands. I actually had a lot more errands than I thought I would have, which was not stopping me from having a productive day and included having lunch with my mom.
Super work. Nicely done, Charla.
So, what's for dinner? What? What's wrong with that? What? I'm starving! And it's her night to cook.
Yeah, I'm not really clear on that either. It's breakfast for dinner, by the way.
Awesome. Love it.
First of all, Scott, don't think with your stomach before you think with your heart. Take the time to let her know that you're happy she had a good day.
Isn't that obvious? I mean, why wouldn't I want her to be happy?
Well, sometimes I don't really think you care too much about my day.
Oh, of course I care. I'm sorry. I should tell you more that I care, babe. I got this. Honey, what can I do to help you with dinner tonight?
Oh, that was me. I slipped. I'm sorry.
That was a really brave offer, babe.
I think you mean helpful, not brave.
No, I think she's referring to the fear I have with those biscuits that explode when you open them.
How embarrassing. And that brings us to the lightning round.
That doesn't sound good.
2 negative. Charla, go.
I'm confused.
Excellent, Charla. Good to express your confusion. Scott!
Can I have a biscuit? May I have a biscuit?
This is not English class, Scott.
Do you want a biscuit?
Excellent. Generosity always wins.
High five, babe.
Hello? Isn't there a cash prize or something?
Last week, we started a new segment called Relationship Conversations, where we talk with couples and have them share with us their best advice about relationships. This week, we're blessed to have Chong and Mary join us, and so let's see and hear what they have to share. Well, we're back to another segment of Relationship Conversations, and today we're with Chong and Mary. Thank you so much, Chong and Mary, for joining us. Hey, how long have you guys been married for?
Married for like what, four months?
Almost 5 months.
5 months almost. Yeah, newlyweds.
Congratulations. Wow, you two. Congratulations. You two are newlyweds then.
Yeah.
In light of this relationship series, we want to ask you the question, what is one tip that or advice that you would give to couples?
Yes, I guess I'll go first. I think one tip would be like to kind of never give up on each other. Like work through your differences, and no matter what those are, like figure out what those are, or like if there's arguments, work those out. I just feel that if you never work these like little issues out, then you just can't get past them, and your relationship kind of comes to a halt or standstill. But I think another thing too would be to like figure out how you work together. You know, like even through those differences, how you also work together too. You know, there's different things you can do, you know, to just work through those things.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chong.
Thanks, Chong.
How about you, Mary?
Yeah. For me, Chong and I, we're so new in marriage. I feel like, is there anything we can share that would help couples who have more experience than us, or maybe we can help newlyweds, but we're so new and young in our journey. But one thing I notice is that in a marriage, what has helped Chong and I is that we need teamwork. We need teamwork because we are partners, companions, in this marriage, in this journey. And some things that Chong is not very strong in, I have to come in and use my strength so that we can get past that moment, and vice versa too. Some things that I'm not very good at, Chong has to fill in those spaces. And then the challenge is when we both don't know what to do. Now that is where we have to rely on God, and we both have to work through it. So teamwork, we really have to put our heads together, and I don't leave him out or he doesn't leave me out. We have to go together on this journey.
Wow, thank you, Mary. So powerful. In just that short amount of time, you just shared that as newlyweds, you do have something to offer. And so, Chong, your piece on not giving up and working through the differences. And then, Mary, your piece on working together. Specifically, you use the word partners and companions. So powerful. Thank you, too, for sharing your advice.
Yeah. Thank you, Kong, for having us.
Definitely. And I just echo paying newlyweds and such wise advice. And so, Chong, Mary, it was great having you share your advice in our relationship conversation. Great to see you. Thanks again.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
You.
Thanks again, Chong and Mary. In a bit, we're going to transition into our teaching segment of service and talk about the first crack, poor conflict resolution. Now, as a child, I never enjoyed seeing my parents in conflict. So I promised to myself that when I got married, I would never be in conflict with my wife. Of course, that did not last very long. You see, it's actually very normal to have conflict, even in healthy relationships. The absence of conflict is a misconception, and absence of conflict might mean that the relationship is unhealthy because we're not vulnerable, nor are we assertive in presenting problems and things that we're not content with. The crack, though, is that when we don't have good conflict resolution, that's where the issue lies. The next video that we have might be a depiction of what it feels like when we experience conflict and don't have any resolution. It might feel harsh, mean, lonely, and maybe even painful. Relationships are tough, and if you've ever experienced that, know that God heals the cracks in our relationship. And today we're going to get a chance to hear from Pang Fu of what that looks like, how that looks like. And so let's check out this video and then listen to what God has for us.
You come out here to talk about parenting styles?
You know we have a sensitive daughter, Jace. She cries when you look at her sideways. Never mind the tone of voice you use with her.
Sorry I haven't read as many parenting books as you, but maybe she just needs to learn to cope. Not getting to read a book before bed is not the end of the world.
You use the same tone of voice with me.
Sometimes you cry when you don't get to read your Kindle at night. Me, I'm more of a Netflix guy, so it's really not
Stop. Okay, just stop it. Everything is a joke with you. I feel like we're not communicating anymore.
Okay. This is about us. Oh, you communicate great. Yeah, with the way you undermine me all the time in front of her. And in front of everyone, for that matter. Our friends, our family. You cut my legs off at the knees, and it's emasculating.
You do that all on your own, Jace. We're supposed to be rubbing off on each other. We're supposed to be finding the good in one another.
Yeah.
Not just you affecting me.
So what am I missing?
I feel like I'm the one doing all the bending. I know how much I've changed
What?
over the years, and
Are
if
you
you could
kidding me? You're doing all the bending. You are.
You used to. When we first got married, everything was just so...
We were different. We were kids. What are you not saying?
I'm just saying, you never want to talk about us.
Well, that's calling the kettle black, isn't it? Coming from the person that makes indirect comments about everything I say and do because you're so afraid of conflict? Why don't you just come out and say it? I'm not like you, and that's the problem, right?
Well, surely I'm of some use to you. You're not just here for my benefit. I'm here for you, too. I'm just telling you that you could just...
And I'm telling you, I'm not your father. I'm sorry. I love you.
I love her daughter. I'm not going anywhere. But I'm not your dad, and I'm being punished for the way he treated you, and it's not fair.
Right. So I guess I'm just some poster child for daddy issues. All in one sentence. Congratulations. I'm glad we got that settled.
That's not what I said. You misunderstood me.
I'm going to bed.
We used to assume the good. We used to see the best in each other.
We are on week 2 of the series on cracks, based on the premises that 1, stress such as we've been experiencing this past year reveals cracks in our relationships, and 2, that we should repair these cracks before they become canyons. One of the cracks that has likely come out for you is conflict. Now, conflict itself is not bad or destructive, nor is it an indicator that your relationship is weak. How you do conflict is the important and telling factor, as you just saw in the previous video. Now, what do you do when you have conflict with your spouse, a friend, or a coworker? Do you ignore it by avoiding the issue or by running away? Do you patch it up by giving in or by apologizing but not really meaning it? Or do you repair it by doing the hard work of understanding and compromising? Now, I'm rarely surprised when a mild-mannered couple sits in my therapy office and they tell me that their arguments escalate and turn into outright dirty fights. But I'm always surprised when a couple who both profess to be followers of Jesus Christ tell me that when they have arguments, there's cussing, name-calling, threats, screaming, and even violence. For some reason, couples get into heated arguments and they give themselves permission to say and do whatever they feel like, as though being upset gives them the right to be mean and destructive with their words. The Bible has a lot to say about conflict, and it addresses issues such as anger, quarreling, fighting, and disunity. Today we're going to focus on the book of James and see what he wrote to the first century believers. In James 3, verse 5 through 11, we read, "Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind. But no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. With the tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse human beings who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring?" James does not make any allowance for speaking however we want. Instead, he says we must control our tongue because it is a restless evil full of deadly poison. Now, he points out that while humans have been able to tame all kinds of animals, we are unable to tame our tongue. Yes, the tongue may be a small thing, but it is like that little spark that can set thousands of acres of forest and brush on fire. It is small, but it can ruin your whole body and bring destruction to your entire life. James then declares that when we praise God, we contradict ourselves when we use that same tongue to curse people. Why? Because our words reveal what is really in our hearts, and if we can spew evil and cursing, then our praises of God cannot be authentic. In fact, James first declared earlier in chapter 1, verse 26, that those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. The words we use reveal not only our hearts, but also our faith or lack thereof. That should give us a wake-up call. What does all this look like in a relationship? Well, few authors have captured this better than the researcher John Gottman. He has studied thousands of couples and can predict with more than 90% accuracy which couples will divorce. Gottman identified 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, as he called them, borrowed from the imagery of the book of Revelation, because these 4 behaviors that couples use in conflict resolution usually lead to the apocalypse or the end of the relationship. The 4 horsemen are: 1, criticism, which is where verbally attacking your partner's personality or their character instead of complaining about the behavior or situation. 2 is contempt, which is attacking your partner's sense of self-worth. You may be disrespectful, mocking, sarcastic, calling them names, or rolling your eyes. Now, contempt is found to be the greatest predictor of divorce. 3rd is defensiveness, making yourself the victim and then blaming your partner in order to defend against a perceived attack. And 4th is stonewalling. This is where you withdraw to avoid conflict and you convey disapproval. You may walk away, give the cold shoulder, or refuse to talk. I highly recommend Gottman's book entitled Why Marriages Succeed or Fail, which contains self-assessments to help you assess for criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling in your own relationship. Now, in all of this, there is hope. God has a repair plan for our unruly tongues and evil hearts. And James tells it in chapter 4, verse 6 through 10. We read, "But he gives us more grace. That is why Scripture says, God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come near to God, and he will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Grieve, mourn, and wail. Change your laughter to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Your tongue may be the unbridled and evil that spews words, and you may have burned other people, those people that you love. But the crack and even the canyon can be repaired. If you will turn to God, humble yourself before him, and grieve over your sin, repent, and turn away from the use of evil words, and submit to God. Then he will give you grace, he will forgive you, he will empower you to control your tongue and lift you up from the ashes. Imagine what your relationship will be like when conflict is handled with humility, submission, and self-control. Instead of a battle between enemies, conflict can result in greater understanding, partnership, and the living out of your faith. We have just heard about God's plan to help you gain control over your tongue and how to do conflict better. Well, according to Gottman's studies, there are really just two basic principles that help couples in their conflicts. One is that happily married couples have a gentleness with each other when they're in conflict. And two, that even in the middle of their conflicts, they're able to slow things down and repair the rupture that happens in the relationship. And they're in that process, they're able to actually talk about their negative emotions in a good and positive way. So we have a skill that we want to teach you today that will do those two things. Slow things down so you can be more gentle and help you to process any emotions that are coming up for you.
And so this skill, this technique, we learned it early in our marriage, and it's not an exaggeration to say that this saved our marriage. Because so I did not come into marriage with a whole lot of communication skills, especially conflict skills, and especially skills talking about my emotions. I didn't come into marriage with any of that, because that's not really what my family did. And so we would fight in all the wrong ways. And this technique, this script in a sense, helped us communicate better, understand better, and ultimately love each other better. And so that's why we talk about this every chance we get. In fact, I know that some of you have heard this already, sometimes maybe even more than a few times, because we will share this every chance we have, because it is the best thing we've heard to improve communication. And so it has two roles: the speaker role, which I'm going to do, and then the listener role, which she's going to do. And so I'm going to start with the speaker role, and it starts with a statement that says, I feel blank when you blank. Okay? Now, that first blank is an emotion word. It is not, I feel that you're an idiot. Okay, that is not what we're talking about here. It's, I feel hurt. Okay, that's okay. Even better, I feel disrespected. I feel undervalued. I feel excluded. I feel rejected. Focus in on those deep emotion words. And then it's when you blank, and that one is one specific action. This is not the time to unload on your spouse. You're only talking about one thing. It's not when you do this, and then this, and then this, and then, no. One at a time. Okay? And so that's how it starts. I feel blank when you blank.
And now the listener's role is to really listen well and gain the understanding that you want. And part of what the listener will do is to reflect back, because reflecting back lets the speaker know that you heard and that you heard their words. So when you reflect back, you would repeat basically what they said. What I heard you say is, you feel this when I do this. And then you always want to check in with them. Did I get that right? And if you did, then you also give them the permission to say more. So you ask, is there more? And they might expand on it more. And then the next step is really important. And this is to validate the speaker's emotion. So you would say something like, that makes sense to me that you would feel this way. And once you validate it, you go even deeper and you provide some empathy by joining them where they are. And then you say, I can imagine that if that is what you were feeling, these are the other things and feelings that you might be experiencing now. So taking it even deeper. Okay?
Yeah. So we're going to show you what this looks like. And we're going to go through these stages. And at first, we understand these stages might seem awkward or even formulaic or stiff, but stick with it. You don't have to vary. You don't have to come up with your own words. You don't have to just stick with the script because it works. Okay, so we're going to give you an example and we'll highlight what we're doing briefly at each stage. So first is I share an I feel statement and I focus on an emotion. So, parfois, I feel unvalued when you make plans with our family
without checking with me first.
So, Greg, what I heard you say is that you feel unvalued when I make plans with my family or our family without checking in with you first. Did I get that right?
Yeah, yep.
Is there more?
Yeah, because it's really hard for me to shift quickly. Like if I have an idea, like I'm gonna work on my latest Star Wars Lego thing in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden I find out we have to go over to your mom's, and I kind of lose what I had hoped to do that afternoon. That's really hard for me to shift like that.
Okay. So, I mean, I could totally see how you would feel unvalued when it seems like I'm valuing my family or my plans more than I'm valuing your plans of spending time doing Legos.
Yeah, thank you.
So I guess then I could see how if you felt unvalued, then even when we're at my parents' or doing the thing that I planned, that you would feel like you couldn't really participate fully.
Yeah, and I definitely sometimes feel like that, that I don't really want to participate because I'm holding on to that resentment sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for listening. That's how it works. So did you see did you hear my emotion word, unvalued? The single action, that's all I included. And then did you hear the parts for her also?
Did you see the reflection, the checking in, the asking for more, and the validation of his emotions, and then the empathy by extending what that emotion might lead to other things?
There you go. Now it's your turn to practice it this week. We're going to post up a couple links in the comments to a handout for you that you could print this out and stick it up on your fridge. We're also going to give you a list of emotion words. So if you aren't great with your emotions, kind of like I wasn't, you can look through this list and it can help you identify what's going on in your inner world. So there you go. Thanks, everyone.
Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art, thou my best thought by day or by waking or sleeping, thy presence, my life. Be thou my wisdom, endow my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, and I thy true Son. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one. Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, the first in my heart. High King of heaven, I treasure thou heaven shines, oh bright heaven sun. Heart of my own heart, whatever befall, still be my vision, oh heart of my own heart, whatever still be my vision. Ooh,
Hey, thanks again for taking some time to be with us today.
Now, as service concludes, we still want to connect with you. And so, if you want prayer, because you have some prayer requests, if you want to connect with Pastor Greg, again, we would love to connect with you, even though service is coming to a conclusion. And to do that, there's going to be 2 posts that are going to be floating in the comment section. One specifically about prayer, and the other one specifically about connecting with Pastor Greg. And so, find those posts, like either one, whichever you want, or both of them if you want to. Ask for if you want someone to pray for you and you want to connect with Pastor Greg. And so check them out, like them, and again, we love to connect with you even after service ends. With that, service is coming to conclusion, and we want to send you off with a blessing. We always end service with our benediction, and so this is a tradition, RiverLife. And so, sending you off the blessing, I want you to receive the blessing. And so go ahead and open up your hands. I'm going to stretch out my hand to bless you all. Then we're going to send you off. And so may the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. Mm-hmm. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. Amen. Go in God's blessing. Take care. I love you all. We've got some discussion questions right after this, and so stick just a little longer to discuss some discussion questions. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Enjoy this heat wave that we're going to be hitting this week. Again, take care. Bye.
See you all.